Good morning everyone, welcome to my channel. So, drum roll, May, a fabric covered box with slow stitch elements is the Roxy Creations prompt for the month of May. So very exciting. I've got 2 boxes in mind. I don't know if I'll do both, but I need to make a decision. So I spotted this book on Rachel's video and she did a bit of a flip through and I was like, oh, I'm sure I have that in my cupboard. So I went and grabbed it out and I'm listening to Rachel as she was covering her box with her papers, her vintage antique papers. And I'm thumbing through Anne Kelly's book thinking, oh yes, this is going to be great. I'm going to love doing this. Love, love, love everything that Anne does. If anything, Anne probably shows me to be a little bit looser with my construction and not so precise. When I got this book probably 12 months ago, I put little scrappy bits of paper everywhere of things that caught my eye. And I thought, oh, look at this. What a different way to view a box. So I'm flipping through, listening to Rachel, and my page came to this. And I'm thinking, I've got one of these. So having moved house, I'm now settled in the new house at Burrum, and our Brisbane house is now on the market. So you'll be watching this on Tuesday. We have an open house on Saturday just gone. So I'm not sure how that has all gone and played out. So anyway, I'll tell you all about that and the palaver that goes with all of that business. But in the meantime, focus, girl. Stay on topic. So this box here, because I emptied cupboards out to move them only to stuff everything back into cupboards. You know those things that go to the back of the cupboard? You sort of can't let them go. I actually stood with some of these items in my hands and thinking, oh, I just don't need it. I'll never use it. Put it either into the thrift store, donate it, or put it in the back of the cupboard. So as soon as I saw this, I'm like, oh, I have something from the back of the cupboard. Look, this was my grandma's. She had her crocheting in this when she went into the nursing home. But for most of my time, I can remember it sitting beside her couch. So it's one of those concertina pull-out boxes. And I've taken some of the crocheting threads out over the time, but left the really fine ones or their duplicates. So I haven't really gone anywhere with these. And that's the box. So it's already got fabric on the inside. It's like a very fine satiny sort of nylon-y feel. It works really well. The only thing is it's heavily lacquered. So if I do this box, which I'm not sure, maybe one day, we'll see how the month of May goes. If the other box, which I have in mind, comes together really quickly and I have time, I might do this, or it might sneak into the next month as well. But I feel like I've got some confidence now that I think I could tackle something like this. The only thing I need to do is I would need to lightly sand this because it's really lacquered. So I'd need to find the sandpaper, and my husband's shed, oh my goodness. Like the girl gets her craft room sorted pretty darn slick, as you can imagine. But that shed, oh, so I'd probably have to go hunting for some sandpaper to give this a bit of a rough up. Then I'd need to make a decision. Do I give it a light gesso so that I push this orange tone back? So that's where I'm at with this box. And I must say, having seen that image, I'm really loving the idea of doing the box. So we'll see how we go for time. I love the idea of putting some paper into it, like Rachel's doing. because I have a stash of Rachel papers. When I was doing journals, I bought some paper packs and I've used little bits of it. I have some Florentine paper and some Italian vintage antique papers, and I've hoarded them. I'm going to pull them out and I'm going to incorporate them into this project and then add bits of fabric, slow stitch and collage something together. Now, colour scheme wise, it's going to be a French, because I've sort of been doing 2 colour schemes this particular 6 months, the blues and the reds. So I'll see what I can do to that box to make it a surface that is ready to go. So I probably won't film that. I might just fiddle around with it. I'll get myself some sandpaper. It looks like I'm doing it. Oh, I knew the moment I nearly put this back in the cupboard and thought, don't talk about it, girl, because you're going to talk yourself into doing it. I wonder if I can get that off. Don't know. I just need to, I guess, have a look how dusty that is. Have a bit of a play with it. So rough it up. Maybe give it a base coat. I'm thinking of a white gesso or an off-white gesso. So white acrylic paint. That'll then give me a surface that will glue to easily. Maybe just the sanding will be enough, but there's going to be bits and pieces that might be seen. But anyway, I need to, wish it was just raw like that. So stay tuned, guys. But in the meantime, to kick off, why is that not closing? To kick off the month with something that I can just get straight into, because, you know, the girl just wants to get busy. I'll put this book away. I have also got, I'll put this away because that, gosh, see, there's bits falling out of the box already. That will definitely be the colour scheme. So then I can bring my French fabrics out and my antique laces and make something that matches these tones. So let's just move away from that for now. Now, as I said, I'm working with this colour scheme for my little tote. And you've seen it pop up with my Jennifer Clouston's sewing caddy. So that is definitely a colour scheme, and you're currently watching the series where I create Susanna's panel using these tones and colours and things. So I've sort of got, I think, 2 distinct styles. I love this red look and I love the blue look, and I love this tartan, the stripes. So this next box is going to be something that will blend in with these pieces. Okay, which is great because then I don't have to buy anything and I can just use what I got and go for it. Okay, the next box. This is, I think, I was going to say glory box, but I don't think it is. It came out of my grandmother's cupboard when we had a bit of a clean up, and I popped it in the cupboard thinking, oh, it's so old. Look, it's got rust on it. The paint's coming off. I just love it. I love how it's shabby. Look at the hinges. They're all rusty. It's made out of cardboard, so my surface is ready to go. I've got a very slight damp cloth here, and as we talk, I'm just going to give it a light clean because I can see dust on it from being in the cupboard. Now, what was in this box? There's a good question. Just a very light clean. I think this is going to be perfect. And the fact that it's got that blue, see, that's metal. That's all metal, which makes it quite a sturdy box. Look at those little rusty bits. So I'm really digging this. This is the project for the month. The other box I'll fiddle around with and maybe get it to a point where it's usable. At the moment, it needs a bit of prepping. I even looked at the screws on the side of it. I need to check in with the husband and say, hey, if I take these out, do you think it's a problem? But the back of those screws are behind that satin fabric. So I need to just do a bit of research. If anyone knows of a video out there where someone has restored one of those boxes or done something with them, let me know in the comments, because I'd be interested to see what techniques I need to do before I get, you know, into it. This is easy because I'm dealing with cardboard. It's textured, so my glue is going to adhere whatever I put on it. It's going to be challenging because those little lugs, I'm going to have to get fabric in around. Look, there's blue paint coming off on my hands. Oh my goodness, she's an old girl. So I don't think I'm going to put any paper on this one. I'm going to go straight into fabric and collage fabric over it. And my thoughts were, I grab some calico scraps or homespun for those who have that terminology. That's too thick. That's like heavy duty canvasy calico. Yeah, I need some lightweight ones. I want to push the black back. So the plan is to collage this with fabric first and make the black disappear. So that's what I'm going to start with today. Once I get a base on using this, I can then start collaging elements for it. Goodness knows what I'm going to do, if it's going to be floral or a bird or a butterfly. I just don't know. So I think what I'll do to give myself time to discover my box here and its elements and how I want to treat it and what I want to expose, what I don't want to expose, I'll just cover it like what Rachel's doing. Just take a moment to get to know the form. Now, you're probably wondering, there was something in it and I left it in there from Grandma's cupboard. So who wants to know what's in the box? It's going to make you go, oh, look. Let's open it up. What have we got in here? Look at this in here. This is paper. On the inside, there's a funny stain there. I don't know what that is. Actually looks... I don't know. Might just give this a light wipe. Get any dust. Maybe I'll do a bit of paper collaging in here. Just to... Might have to go around and just add a little bit of glue to these edges. Oh, isn't it beautiful? That's why I think this inside, it matches this really well. Plus it's got the blue. It seriously is meant to be. Yeah. Gosh, it's like just covered in paper. Maybe I will be. It's in that rust. Maybe I do. Oh, I could put fabric in here. Who knows? We will get there. Definitely has come away a little bit. So I'll be putting a little bit of glue. Can feel that that's... But the whole thing's got a little bit of movement. So anyway, thinking out aloud here. So what was in Grandma's box? Look at this. Look at these. Aren't they just the most adorable? Look at those little shoes. That's been carved out of the leather. Now these would have been my mum's and sister and brother's shoes. These shoes here, I think, were my shoes. I just have a feeling I've seen a photo of me in those. And these are also my shoes. So the 70s, look at them. Aren't they just? Oh. Size 2. Oh. So this little box, I'm going to get rid of that plastic bag, but then these are a bit dirty. I might just keep them in the bag for now and maybe give them a bit of a spruce up. They need a little bit of love. Now I have somewhere, oh yeah, I think I know where it is. I have a little pair of shoes that belong to my husband. I might pause the video, see tangent coming. I'm going to go and get the other pair of shoes. Be back in a moment, guys. I'm back. Nothing like a good tangent. These are some other ones that I had in another box, and they're going to join these ones, I think. We'll keep them all together. So this might end up being a shoe box. So these were mine. Little buttons are gone. Oh, and then I remember using these on my dolly. I had a dolly that stood up, and Grandma made a dress, a little pinafore for the doll, and some knickers and some little kids' socks we used on her, and then we put these little shoes on Dolly. Gosh, the memories. Now these two, these little guys belong to my husband. Now my husband was born in England, so there's photos of him trotting around as a little tacker wearing these little red shoes. Aren't they a baby dear? Made in Scotland. They're absolutely adorable. So, little boys' shoes. Aren't they just gorgeous? Anyway, detoured. So we're going to work on this box. So what I thought I might do is start with getting some fabric onto it, just to knock this black back. Oh, it would not be the right size, would it? Does it matter? Because there'll be fabric going everywhere all over it. Let's have another look at another piece. That feels real stiff. So there you go, we have a plan, and it might, this one here might be better. It might include another box. We'll see how we go for time. I'm still trying to move into my my house. What I might do, just thinking about this, I'll try and speak. So I've got what's news. So I'm making this on Thursday morning, having watched the girls' videos. You guys are watching it on Tuesday because I have already got videos in place ready for your general viewing. So I have been busy unpacking boxes. I think it was Wednesday last week for me. I moved. I loaded up the car, which included as many boxes as I could get in, and Pepper and Bandit, and we drove to the property. And Pepper and Bandit have been here just over a week, settling into their new digs, and they've been really good. They're a little bit perplexed by kangaroos. They're like, what is that? We've never seen that before. So Bandit in particular just stares at them. Pepper gives them a woof. She's like, I don't know about you, but Bandit's like, hello, would you like to just hang out with me? Bandit's just such a chilled, cool cat of a dog, where Pepper's like, oh, can we run? Can we play? I just know that if Pepper got out with kangaroos, she'd chase them. It just would be terrible. Where Bandit, he'd just be more chilled, I think. He's a follower. Pepper's the leader. They travelled really well. It was a 4-hour drive. Well, I did it in about 3.5 hours. 4 hours if you stop halfway for fuel and snacks. So because I had the dogs with that halfway point, I stopped and they had a quick pizzle on the grass, quick little drink of water, and we just got straight back in the car and got going again. So they travelled really, really well. I was so pleased. I'll put a photo at the end of the video. It's not real clear because I sort of took it as we were leaving. I should have taken a moment and made sure it was clear, but I just clicked the picture and started driving. So they're sitting on the back seat in my car, and you'll see boxes behind them. So it was quite fun. And then when I got here, all of the structures are done. The shed, the house, the concrete, the patios, the fencing, hence the dogs could go. But the lawn wasn't down. I think we got here the Wednesday. Friday, the turf arrived. So there were 3 chaps that came with the turf to lay it, and myself, you know, supervising, and Pepper and Bandit. So it was a bit of a circus, but it was a lot of fun. So then the watering of the turf has kicked in. So for the first week, I did it morning and night, and I've got it down to a fine art where everything's positioned nicely, and I just hook up hoses and maybe move 2 sprinklers to reconnect to other sprinklers, and oh my goodness, it was a palaver. But I figured it out, and I think it would go that way. Yeah, figured it all out. Oh, I think I'm going to cover those. I like the idea that it's gone past a little bit. I was going to trim it back and tuck, you know, ease the fabric in all the way. But I don't know. I do like the idea that they're exposed. What will I do? What will I do? I might just get the glue down in the centre. Anyway, I'll keep chatting while I fiddle here, because I'm just not sure what exactly I'm going to do. I'm going to use a glue stick too. I find that this blue glue from Officeworks, it's not expensive. I can get on a nice thick layer and it just really adheres. So laid turf, so I've been madly watering, and then in amongst it I have the boys me getting here with the dogs, and they were putting the soil down that allows the turf to grow into. Put a few mounds of dirt or soil where I want future garden beds. So in amongst sprinkler moving and undoing boxes and setting up my craft room and trying to, you know, do a million jobs all at once. I do outside jobs, inside jobs, outside jobs, inside jobs. I sort of was everywhere and anywhere. It was a hot mess there for about a week. But I slowly got it done, broke it all down into zones and, you know, got it all sorted. Hope this is not reacting to that surface. Don't think so. Plenty of glue. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing. I'm pretty happy with my room. I've had a bit of an issue with the table for my room. If you've watched the tour of my craft room that I had in Brisbane, I need a bone folder. One moment, guys. I know exactly where it is too. Where is it? There it is. I took a lot of care into setting up my room because I know what I need when I need it. So just be gentle, girl. Don't be too much pressure. You're getting creases. Yeah, what was I saying? So yeah, I've had about a week of just working through piles of boxes that are sitting in certain areas, like the boxes that were once all connected to our office and our business. Well, I've had to condense that down to 2 filing cabinets. So, and that's in a cupboard in 2 filing cabinets. So I did all that, and there was more kitchen stuff and craft room, and all of my clothes was still sitting in suitcases. Gaz had sorted his out, but I hadn't yet had enough time to load my wardrobe, basically. So between that and moving the sprinkler and raking soil around and putting sugarcane mulch on the gardens, I've only got, so the last house was acreage. This is a third of the size. So my gardens this time, instead of being big sprawling garden beds with big gum trees, so very bush-like, manicured bush, this time they're particular gardens in aesthetic places, not too big, and they're there to sort of break up the look of concrete, or I need to plant something that is a wind barrier and put a bit of shade onto the patio because of the western sun. They're those types of garden beds. One in front of the house that is just aesthetically pleasing. So I've got 4 garden beds. It's an absolute pleasure compared to what I've come from. So really, really pleased with the way. I'm going to have to cut that in. I just love that blue edge and those little bolts. So we'll have a go at that in a moment. Yeah, so I've been busy getting myself basically prepped, but it's been good because in the meantime, I have had time to look at said garden beds and think about, what do I want to achieve in this space? What sort of plants? So it's been good. It's just like slow the mind down. You're now here. Everything's unpacking nicely. What are you going to do in this garden bed? So that's what I've been thinking about. And then I've taken a few runs into town because I was, got to get out of the place. It's going a bit crazy chasing sprinklers around. So I've gone to some nurseries, had a chat to some horticultural advisory folk because I'm in a completely different environment. I've never lived. Just see a crease there when I do that, so that'll work. Okay, so my blue glue is inadvertently given me a little line. Okay, am I having camera? I haven't yet got my TV up on the wall. It's still in the other house because if I took it off, then I'd have a wall that was missing a TV and it would look a bit weird. So it'll follow. Oh yeah, that works. So what I'm doing is using the glue to create the crease, and then I can snip it. This will work a treat. It's fiddly. But I think I mentioned a few seconds ago, before I got off track with garden stories, is my craft table in Brisbane was 1.5 by 2.5, which is big. And in that room, it did work. It was our office table for years, and I commandeered it. And I loved it because of its size. Oh, that's worked a treat. But this room, it would fit, but I wanted a bit of space, and like 99% of the time, it's just me. So the big table was great when I had meetings with staff and, there was people coming for business meetings and that, but that's not really happening up here. So I said to my husband, that table really is too big, and it's only going to crowd up my space, because I'd love to have a cutting table and all these pieces of furniture that were crammed around the perimeter of that room. And I'm just going to crease it with my nail. That gives me my line. Lift it back up. Look at that. That worked a treat. Cut in, and then just use that mark that the glue. Gosh, I hope I'm on camera. You see the line of the glue being blue. It's worked really well. So I ended up moving on the big table. It was tricky. Many people commented about, looked at getting it. And I kept saying, check your measurements, check your measurements. It's a monster. You won't get it on the back of a utility. Please check your measurements. So eventually we found someone who had a lightweight semi-commercial truck. Where's my rag? I've got a bit of glue on that metal edge. Who was able to get it on you know, the vehicle. And away it went. Now this table was out on our patio, and it's only 1.10 meters wide and 2 meters long, but the hole underneath is another panel, so it can extend. So I've got it in its smallest form, and if I get some house guests for a weekend of crafting, I can just extend the table and we can all fit. I could probably have 8 sitting around my table. And yeah, so this table is now my new one, and it was outside on the patio. It's a glass top, metal legged table. So really, really happy. So I've got a little table for me, and it can become a big table when my guests come. Fellow crafters or crocheters or people just sitting and chatting. So once again, I've put the glue there, created the edge with my fingernail, and then using that as my guide to trim back. That's worked a treat. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Now, because this was once my patio table, I don't have a lot of chairs left that went with it, because Bandit and Pepper puppy times pretty much ate them. So I went into town the one day and I bought a new patio table, which was very exciting. I haven't bought a piece of furniture for years because, you know, there's only so much patio furniture you need in your lifetime, and if you buy it right, it lasts pretty much a lifetime. I did have an old timber table as well in Brisbane, but I ended up getting rid of that because it was really fallen to bits, and I used to have to stain it and oil it all the time, and we'd had that when we first got married, so we're talking over 30 years now, and it's had its day. And yeah, I'm sick of staining it, and because this area here being coastal, it's pretty rugged. I would say I'll spend most of my life staining it to make it look presentable. So yeah, got rid of that one. It was so good to get rid of some furniture too, like, oh, just too much. Life is simple, isn't it now? I'd rather buy fabric and lacy things. That one's not as good as that. I was very clever with that one. That one's so-so. That's all right. It just needs to be. That's because I'm yibby-yabbering and not focused completely on the task. So yeah, that's the table sorted, and I've got a new one coming, which is exciting. And now I'm thinking about plants and the environment that they are going to live in, and what I'm going to, you know, select. The front bed, garden bed that's to the front of the property, it's all grass except this one bed that sits in front. I'm thinking agapanthus, because I want that cottagey sort of look, and I'd love the white agapanthus flowers coming up, and I could be brave, I don't know, don't hold me to it, and get myself a couple rose bushes. I've never grown roses, they have me a bit spooked, but I wouldn't mind a cottage rose, you know, like an English topiary cottage rose. But I don't know. I've got to actually ask some more questions and see if my environment is actually suitable to it. I've been driving around looking at everyone's gardens. I take a different way out every time just to see what's thriving. So I wouldn't say I've seen a lot of roses, so which makes me think they're probably not real good for this area. I don't know. Phone's buzzing. But the agapanthus, they are around, so I know they work. I've grown them so many times and I just love them. I love how they're green and beautiful, and then one day you're covered in flowers. And the other thing I've got is when my mum was with us, she really loved, oh, now the name's gone. It's a bulb and they pop up with these big flowers and they're all different colours, and she's got a red, a white, orange and a yellow. And she bought them on a tour that went on a gardening expo thing. And they're in pots at the farm, and Dad was like, what do you want to do with these? You know, he's not real interested in doing much. And others had said, oh, Roy, could I have those? And I said, no, don't. I'll put them in my garden, my new garden. So then the bulbs have a home, and then when the season happens, up pops these random colours. So, oh, what are they called? Bugger it. I've just gone blank. It'll come to me. Oh. I can't believe I've forgotten it. I was just talking about them to a neighbour. I'm sure you guys will be throwing 100 suggestions into the comments of what I could be talking about. Oh gosh, just can't get it into my mind. No, too many plants. So anyway, that's the front garden bed, English cottage sort of look to suit the facade of the property. And then out the back, we've got a bit of a wind tunnel that wisps between the house and Gaz's shed, and we've got a patio that links the two buildings, which is created a bit of a wind tunnel, and that's where we'd sit to have a cold drink or, you know, sit outside on a summer's afternoon. But I have a very strong coastal breeze coming off the water. So I need a plant that breaks that breeze a little bit. I don't want to lose the breeze. I still want to have the breeze, but I don't want to be blown off the chair. And when the sun comes over to the west, that sun comes in on the back of our neck and our head, and late afternoon, it's not the nicest place to sit. So I want dappled shade. So I've been tossing up between the elephant ear plant or olive trees. And I'm thinking now olive is the way to go, because that wind, I think, is going to damage my elephant ears. You know, they're those big green leaves. I don't think they're going to handle vicious wind. Well, an olive tree will let the wind pass through and give us that dappled shade that I've got in my mind. So that's what I'm thinking for that bed. And they can be topiary type trims. So the shade will be high, and then I'll have the stems at the bottom, you know. So the stems will be about 2 meters, and then I can have this foliage at the top, and you just prune them once a year. I've been doing a lot of YouTube on how to grow olive trees. Prune them once a year, and the foliage just keeps thickening up. So the breeze will still roll through around our legs and our waist, from our shoulders above our heads another metre or so. We'll have protection from the elements. So, and then the last two beds, one is where the dogs hang out in a sheltered area due to another patio, and it's sort of out from our bedroom. And there's a lot of pebbles in there and concrete. And then they sort of have their beds and that. So it needs some green. So I'm thinking the elephant ears would be better suited in there. And then when I look out my bedroom door, I'll have a nice green rainforesty sort of feel. So that's, I've sort of got a different garden in every location due to the environment that it is in. It's been a lot of fun thinking about it all. So the last bed is on the opposite side of the patio from the olive tree bed, and it's only a little rectangle, and I'm thinking about getting a decorative pot. I love playing with little pots of flowers. You see them at nurseries. You can buy petunias and alyssum and impatiens and all those types of things. And then if it takes my fancy and I want to grow some lettuce or a cherry tomato. So I've been in my travels looking for that patio table. Some of the nurseries have beautiful big pots. We're talking like a bowl, and we're talking about 1,200 wide, might even be a bit bigger. And then the one nursery, it has this beautiful pot, and it's standing on a plinth, which would raise it off the ground a little bit. So that would keep Mr. Bandit away from my lettuce and cherry tomatoes or petunias, because you know what boy dogs do. So that would keep him out of mischief. So I really keen on this pot on a little plinth to raise it. So that's what I've been thinking about when I've been moving a sprinkler to get this lawn established. I've been thinking about my little gardens. But in the meantime, I've been getting the soil all leveled out. I've sugarcane mulched it all because it's pretty rugged country here, and my soil is not bad, but it needs sweetening up, as my dad would say. So I got myself 10 bales of sugarcane mulch, and I've spread all that, and it's about as thick as this box. And that'll just break down over the next few months, and that will bring the worms. From goodness knows where worms live. I'm guessing they're way down. And that'll bring them more to my surface, which will help enrich the soil. So I've got a little bit of, can't you tell I'm a farmer's daughter? I'll tell you, I can hear my dad talking. So that'll get the soil ready. So yeah, having a great time. And luckily I had pre-recorded a heap of videos, except for the Roxy one for May, because we, don't know until we know. So I've been missing stitching. I still, had to set up my room and all that. So as soon as I saw the prompt, I'm like, yes, we're away. And they're more current because I'm only a day or so ahead of you guys, whereas most of the other videos are pre-done for May. I'd stitch the seasons as pre-done, and just got to keep on top of it all. How are we going for time? Let me hop up and have a look. We're all right. So this is working a treat. This way too, if my stitch pieces or whatever collaging I do on top don't go right to the edge, because my base fabric is neutral and in the tones, it doesn't matter. And I'm confident too now that I can actually cut around it, these little screws, and highlight them, because I do love the little rusty pieces. I wonder what Grandma put in this. I don't know if it was all these shoes. Probably a makeup box, I have a feeling. Don't know. And I'm not even sure if it was Grandma's. It could have been my mum's or my aunt's. I'll have to ask her. She's in the town nearby. She's always been 4 hours away from me, and she's now only 40 minutes from me. So it'll be really good to have my aunt, my mum's sister, closer. I've been invited to a bit of a Mother's Day. I'm pretty close to her daughter. She's my first cousin. She's my younger brother's age, so she's a couple of years younger than me. My aunt has a son that's my age. I was the firstborn grandchild, and then Chris came in a couple months later, so we were like the first two grandkids. And then my brother came and Chris's sister came, so we were the four originals. And then they had another little brother. So it was the 5 originals. And then there was quite a few years break before Mum and Bernice's brother started his family. He was, I think he's about 10 years younger than my mother and her sister. So my aunt had 3 kids, and my parents had me and my brother and I. So we were sort of like all grew up together, all going through school at the same time, holidaying. I was either in Maryborough with them, riding bikes around town. I'd gone to town for the holidays. It was exciting. Or they were out at our farm, which they loved, as you can imagine, kids. And we had the creek and all the adventures. Where when I came to Maryborough, it was like, wow, the big city, as big as it is. It's a large, large town. So, yeah, it'd be good to have Mother's Day with Teresa and my aunt. It was very kind of them to invite me. So they've booked a pedicure and a manicure, like, oh, what a circus. My fingers and my... I'm in the dirt. I'm a bit of a grot. So my fingernails are non-existent. The cuticles are actually all back because I've been in the dirt. So I said to my cousin, I said to Teresa, don't worry about booking a spot for a pedicure for me or a manicure because I'm gardening. I'm building landscaping projects. No, you got to do it. I'm like, oh, it's a waste of money. There's nothing. The best you'll be able to do is probably rub some hand cream on. They're all cracked and, oh, got dirt on my fingernails because I'm literally moving sprinklers and making turf sit right because it might be sitting a bit up, or Bandit's done a circle and kicked it all up, so I've got to relay turf because the dogs ruined it. But no, they insisted that I have a manicure and a pedicure. What a joke. But we're having lunch first, and I think I might do a bit of whinging at lunch about having to do it. And maybe if she's prepaid it, which I think she has, it's a bit of a treat from Teresa for her mum and me. I might get the shop to give my aunt the voucher because she has acrylic nails. Like, she's beautiful hands and really loves, you know, going and getting the treatment. No, it's just not me. I'm just not that type of girl. I'm not a girly girl. So I might suggest that Teresa gets a voucher for that treatment, and then Auntie Bernice can use it, you know, in the next month or something. It's just wasted on me. I remember having a pedicure for the first time years ago. I went with my mate. She bought me a birthday present, and I did not enjoy it. They were scratching around and poking at things and shaving bits off. Bring out the sander and... Anyway, you don't want to hear the state of my feet. It was a waste of money. Maybe I should, and then I wouldn't have such a... I can't believe I'm talking about my feet now. Anyway, change the subject. We're nearly ready. We're nearly around the side. This has taken a while. It really has. But it's worked. I have to think about what I do there. It's great. Got something to think about while I'm thinking about plants. So that's what I've been up to. I'm so pleased I'm here now, and the dogs are happy. Well, they're happy anywhere. As long as they're with me, they don't care. I'm slowly pulling this house into a home. The Brisbane house, oh, it's lost its soul. We've left a little bit of furniture, but then we've hired a company to come in and place additional furniture around in all the outdoor areas because Bandit's pretty much eaten everything in his puppy years. He finished off what Pepper didn't eat. So I just didn't have anything that was, you know, just went to the dump. There was bits of rattan furniture with bits hanging off, and I was like, nah, got to go. So it looks really good, really good. It was really reasonably priced too. I think it was worth spending the money to make the property look good. And I left behind my dining table and my couch, 3 beds. So yeah, it's come up really well in the photos. So I'll have to tell you in the next video how the open house went, because I'm filming this pre the open house. So yeah, it'll be good. Oh, I'm hacking around here. I need to probably clean my scissors. There's a bit of glue residue on it now. And it's actually, gosh, I hope this has all been in camera. Let me just stand up. Yeah, it has. So yeah, once my TV gets here and I can hook up my Apple TV box, which projects from my iPad up onto the TV. It's fantastic because at a glance I can see my hands. Doesn't mean I don't go out of shot. Just give that a little light clean because I can feel a glue. I probably should have sealed the rust, but I didn't. We all want that authentic look, don't we? There we go. That's great because I've managed to maintain that little detail. Gosh, there's some work. But that's all right. They'll give me something to do. Well, I'm waiting for a sprinkler to do its 30 minutes of water, or I'm sick of digging and shoveling. I can come in here and add another layer to my, what are we going to call it? Glory box? Why does that word keep coming into my mind? Where you put your treasures. All right, I might leave it at that. I think you got the general gist of where I'm going to go. In the meantime, my homework will be to finish getting a base cover on there. I'll have a little think about the inside, but I might go and find those papers from Rachel's paper packs that I bought and do a little bit of collaging in there like she did. Especially through there. In that, the top there is a bit, but we'll see. I could just leave it too because it's just beautiful. I don't like that stain. Maybe I do. I'll have a think about that. I've got time. These little bits are a bit tatty, but that sort of gives it charm too. Okay, so it's coming together. All right, guys, I'm going to say goodbye. I will continue covering my, we'll call it a glory box. I'm going to continue to cover my glory box. And yeah, I'll catch you in a week's time or so with a bit of an update, and we'll hopefully have a plan for the rest of it. All right, guys, look after yourselves, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.